Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're looking at a truly massive piece of infrastructure that's currently on the drawing board over in East Africa. I'm talking about Ethiopia's next potential megaproject, the Addis Ababa to Debre Markos Expressway. If you're the kind of person who's just absolutely fascinated by how nations plan these gigantic leaps in their physical infrastructure and, well, the immense planning it takes to connect completely distant regions, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down the sheer scale of this whole thing, the massive funding it needs, and honestly, why it's an absolute game changer for the future of East African trade. So, how exactly do you build a 300-kilometer highway in Ethiopia? It sounds like a simple enough question, right? But the actual execution, man, that involves just an immense geographical and financial challenge. We're talking about connecting a super bustling capital city across these vast, sweeping landscapes all the way out to regional hubs. Building a national road network like this doesn't just happen overnight. It takes meticulous planning, really intense feasibility studies, and, quite frankly, an absolute ocean of funding. So let's peel back the layers and look at exactly what this specific highway entails and the core strategy behind making it an actual reality. The core vision for the Addis Ababa to Debre Markos Expressway really centers around a planned toll road model. Think of its primary function as serving as this vital economic artery. It's designed to connect Ethiopia's capital city, Addis Ababa, directly up to Debre Markos in the Amhara region. But here's the crucial part. This isn't just some isolated one-off project. No, it's actually one of 4 major expressways that are currently undergoing feasibility studies. This signals a sweeping, completely massive national push for connectivity. The government is actively mapping out all these huge routes originating from the capital, basically looking to completely overhaul the entire country's logistical framework from the ground up. Now, what's really interesting about this figure is the sheer physical scale we're dealing with here, 317.6 kilometers. To put that into perspective, that's roughly 197.3 miles of continuous, controlled access highway. I mean, just imagine paving a path that long, literally cutting right through the Ethiopian terrain, to connect these critical regions. It is a monumental engineering undertaking. You're basically creating this physical lifeline that stretches for nearly 200 miles. And getting that done requires intense logistical coordination, grading, paving, plus the whole shebang of toll infrastructure just to make sure it all operates smoothly. Okay, let's just pause for a second and let this number really sink in. $1.64 billion. That is the staggering estimated cost for the construction and operation of just this single 317-kilometer stretch of road. When we're talking about national road expansion programs, the capital required is, well, it's absolutely astronomical. Finding that kind of money is always the primary hurdle for literally any developing infrastructure project anywhere in the world. So it naturally begs the question, how exactly does the Ethiopian government actually plan to pay for a $1.64 billion toll road? Well, the strategic answer lies in something called a public-private partnership, or PPP for short. See, rather than taking on massive, crippling sovereign debt, the Ethiopian government is leveraging this PPP framework to attract private capital. They're basically pitching global investors to come in, front the construction costs, and assume that operational risk. And the carrot they're dangling? The incentive of long-term toll revenue. It's a super calculated move. They want to build essential public assets using private wealth, which neatly shifts that immense financial burden off the immediate public ledger, but still delivers the critical infrastructure the country desperately needs. And this brilliantly illustrates the core payoff of this entire $1.64 billion endeavor. We're looking at moving away from the everyday reality of heavy congestion and painfully slow travel times between the capital and the Amhara region, and moving toward the ultimate project goals, which are drastically reduced congestion and significantly improved travel times. By creating this dedicated controlled access toll road, commercial trucks and your daily commuters can just completely bypass those old, clogged-up routes. And this isn't just about getting to drive faster. It's really about economic efficiency. It's about moving goods, services, and connecting people with unprecedented speed. That is absolutely vital for kicking off regional economic growth. But if we really want to grasp the true ambition of the Ethiopian government here, we've kind of got to zoom out for a second. This quote from Barometrics paints the full macroeconomic picture perfectly. Ethiopia seeks $10 billion in private capital for expressway projects. Think about that. That $1.64 billion price tag we just looked at for the Addis Ababa to Debre Markos route, that is just one single piece of a massive $10 billion puzzle. Ethiopia is pitching this grand, overarching vision to both global and domestic private investors. They're hoping to completely transform their entire national road network by tackling multiple expressway projects simultaneously. The scale of this financial ask, I mean, it is truly historic for the region. Which brings us to our final, ultimate question for today's explainer. Will private investors actually step up to build Ethiopia's future? I mean, the government has laid out the plans, they've initiated all the feasibility studies, and they've fully established that public-private partnership framework we talked about. But a $10 billion vision, with $1.64 billion of that dedicated just to this single Amhara region corridor, that requires immense investor confidence. Can they attract the necessary private capital to turn these 317 kilometers from just a proposed line on a map into a paved, operational reality? It's a seriously high-stakes infrastructure pitch, and the outcome? Well, it's going to significantly shape Ethiopia's economic landscape for decades to come. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope this deep dive helped clarify the massive scope of this project for you. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.